To be expected today at the Pistorius murder trial. We now cross live to SABC reporter Chriselda Lewis. And Chriselda, I must admit, it's been a tough day for Oscar. It's probably another tough day in the witness box.
Well, Sam, it's becoming increasingly difficult for Oscar Pistorius to answer questions about what happened on the morning that he shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp. We're seeing now several inconsistencies in his story, and as we focus on the toilet cubicle today, that's what we're expecting inside court. We're expecting Oscar Pistorius again to become emotional as he tries to relay the events of what happened on that morning. But to chat a bit more about these inconsistencies and basically what the story is now, we're chatting now to Laurie James, who's our analyst, who's been really following the case quite closely. Laurie, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I think let's start with the number of inconsistencies that we're now seeing in Oscar Pistorius' story, certainly dealing or dealt a blow to his credibility.
It has dealt a blow to his credibility. The problem at the moment is that he has often two and sometimes three explanations for every piece of evidence. We saw the fans in one position, then we saw them in another position. First he said the duvet was on the bed, then he wasn't sure, then it may have been on the floor, then the police moved it to the floor in order to manufacture evidence against him. So there are now 2, 3 and sometimes even 4 explanations for every piece of evidence. So what he says going forward now, he will contradict one piece of testimony. So it's very concerning, and it's very difficult now for him to continue because there will be inconsistencies whatever he says.
Now the state is accusing him of changing the mere foundation of his defense.
And he has indeed done that. In fact, he first did it last week, and he did it again yesterday. His defense that he put forward in his plea agreement at the bail hearing was one of putative self-defense. In other words, very briefly, he intentionally shot the burglar that he perceived to have been there in order to protect himself and Reeva. So there was intent in his act. He shot him on purpose to stop him. The second defense is an involuntary act that he said yesterday. The gun just went off. He had no intent to shoot anyone. So that is the defense of automatism, which is often used in cases of sleepwalking, epilepsy, where there's actually no intent whatsoever. It's an automated act. So even the psychology of the defenses is totally different.
We're seeing Gerrie Nel now, in the beginning, taking several breaks when Oscar Pistorius breaks down. The state also now saying that he's trying to use his emotions to evade the difficult questions.
He definitely has used emotion as a decoy throughout his time on the stand. But what we're seeing now is that even when he does this, Gerrie Nel is pushing forward. The emotion used to come into it when there were photographs of Reeva or photographs of blood. Now the emotion is even coming into play, for example, when he talks about fans or whenever he finds himself in a difficult situation. Now, whether this is for time or whether it's because he's not sure, we'll have to see. But he's definitely playing for time.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. Well, another day of grueling cross-examination that we're expecting in court today as we focus on the toilet cubicle where Oscar Pistorius shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp. Back to you, Sam.